Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we'll have the latest from the live radar, run for the latest UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we have got another 3 or 4 days left of this heat wave for many. Temperatures today getting towards the peak for this heat wave, widely 30 plus degrees across England and Wales. Not quite as hot further northwards and westwards, but things are going to escalate for those regions through Saturday. So Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, very warm today, mid-20s, but the upper 20s, perhaps even 30 degrees will be possible through Saturday. For elsewhere across England and Wales, similar temperatures on Saturday as we've seen today. So again, peaking around that 34 or 35 degree mark. Temperatures will drop off slowly through Sunday and Monday, but remaining in the 30s until Tuesday is when we're all in fresher air, see potentially some thunderstorms and a return to slightly cooler conditions as we start to see a bit more of a westerly flow. And that kind of sets us up for the second half of the month, where at the moment we're still looking likely to be average or above average in terms of temperatures, perhaps hot conditions at times, but there is going to be an increased risk of showers and storms, and that's as a result of more low pressure systems being close by to our west. Now, essentially, that means that we could see even bigger bursts of heat, but they're not going to be completely dry. There will likely be more showers, and of course, with added humidity, bigger and more widespread thunderstorms. So that's something that we have to contend with in the longer range, and we'll explore that further in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoyed the videos, do like and subscribe. Now, if you start on the live radar, bone dry evening, recording this just before 9 PM, and it's still oppressively hot out there at the moment. Some areas still around 30 degrees, so some real proper heat out there at the moment, up and down the country. And as I said, for those northern or western areas, it's going to get even worse into tomorrow. Now, if you look at the temperatures at the moment, hottest across central England, and the reason for that is a bit of sea breezes going along towards the east and south coast. It's kind of the West Midlands in towards Wales. That's where we've got the hottest temperatures at the moment. London, very hot, but you can see you go slightly further south and eastwards, out of kind of the main central part of London, it actually is a little bit cooler. And that, as I said, is because of those slight sea breezes. So yeah, as I said, it's around that Birmingham area, that West Midlands, that's where it is really hot at the moment. Still pretty hot across the Republic of Ireland and across the central belt of Scotland, but it's going to get even worse into tomorrow for those areas being a couple of degrees higher. So this chart we're looking at now is at 9 PM across Friday evening, and you wouldn't be too out of place to mistaken this for an afternoon peak temperature during the summer, as we're all widely in the low to mid 20s, even, as I said, towards those central parts of that big sort of heat dome there across the West Midlands, up towards 30 degrees still. Again, this wouldn't be out of place. This would be actually pretty hot for a summer afternoon. Now, if you look at the max temperatures today, you can see widely into the low 30s. Again, 36 degrees at Lake and Heathrow Air Force Base, but as ever, it's always a couple of degrees higher than the majority of other areas. So we kind of discount that one. You can see widely 31 though to 33 degrees, a rounded 34 there. And again, this doesn't cover every weather station, so likely somewhere got even higher, 34, 35 degrees locally. But again, very, very hot. And you can see if we look at the latest observations, these will be as of 8 PM. So not of 9 PM yet, those will come through in a bit. But as of 8 PM, widely still 28 to 32 degrees. Ridiculous heat still out there this afternoon. You see Birmingham there, 30 degrees, Bedford 30 degrees, Northolt, so towards West London, 31 degrees, and Staventon Private there at 32. So really oppressive. Again, these would be heat wave temperatures in the middle of the afternoon, not at 9 PM, and it is setting up a really poor night for sleeping. Now, to look at the latest UKV, not too much going on over the next couple of days. Pretty bone dry. Bits and bobs of cloud around through Saturday evening and into Sunday, but generally speaking, still very, very dry. A few odd showers drifting for western areas through Sunday as we start to see a bit of instability arrive, and that becomes a bit more widespread into Monday with heavy showers and storms breaking out in places. Still hot air in and around us, which means for Monday afternoon, if you avoid the storms across England and Wales, we are going to be actually very warm. Still low 30s are a possibility. But widespread heat is going to have dissipated by Monday as you start to see some more organised storms through Scotland and lots of scattered showers and storms through Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, drifting into England and Wales. That will clear through Monday in through the evening into Tuesday, and then for Tuesday it's going to be a much cooler day with thicker cloud and outbreaks of rain across England and Wales drifting in there from the west, and that continues into Wednesday when another spell of rain could come for the far south coast. So you can see through Tuesday and Wednesday it is going to be cooler, it is going to be more unsettled, but as we'll see from the long range charts in a few moments time, the sort of cooler nature of it is a blip. I suspect it could stay unsettled longer term, or at least around that 15th to 20th of July point, remain unsettled, but cooler westerly flow will be disappearing and it will return to more warm and humid conditions when we avoid those bits and bobs of rain. Now to look at max temperatures, as expected, around 30 to 34 degrees today, again across those central parts of England and Wales. So yes, Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, Scotland getting up towards 27, 28, but it could be even hotter into Saturday afternoon. Overnight, many areas not getting much below 18, 19 degrees. Could be the odd tropical night out there, i.e. not getting below 20 degrees, but that's probably more likely through Saturday evening. You can see into Saturday afternoon, again across England and Wales, widely 30 to 34 degrees. The peak of those temperatures once again across the West Midlands. And again, the further eastward you go, the cooler it will be with some sea breezes. But notably, more oranges and reds through the far north of England, Scotland, Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Widely 26, 27, up towards 30. Probably we'll see a 31 degree out there, maybe even a rounded 32. So as hot as today across much of England and Wales, but even hotter for Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Into Sunday though, things will change. A tropical night in the west for some, but further east, as the low pressure starts to arrive, it will turn fresher. You can see though, Sunday afternoon, still could see widely high 20s, maybe touching the low 30s, so cooling down already, but still pleasant. And then you can see into Monday, still hot in the east again. Could still reach heatwave thresholds here, 28, 29, 30 degrees, but further westwards, much cooler. And you can see that continues into Tuesday, where widely mid to high teens, 10 to 15 degrees cooler there, as we all go much fresher with those westerly winds. And by Wednesday, still fresher, but already temperatures starting to nudge up as more humid air starts to return. Now, if you have a look at the latest GFS there, now you can see high pressure in control. Eventually, though, low pressure returns into next week. Pretty unsettled, and you can see the tilt in the wind direction later on next week goes back to a southerly, and that could encourage hotter air, but with the low pressure not really disappearing to our west, it could keep it unsettled there all the way into the longer term. So you can see southerly or southwesterly flows continue to look favoured in the longer term. This is definitely a cooler run though than we've seen recently, but it's still got those south to southwesterly pushes and keeping it very unsettled with low pressure over the top of us or very close by. The latest GM is broadly very similar. High pressure in control, low pressure no nudging in next week. Unsettled, but eventually high pressure sat across us and to our east, low pressure just out to our west. And this combination later on next week keeps us hot and humid, but with more instability, more likely to be showers and storms. And it really epitomises it there at day 10 with low pressure just sat off the coast of the Republic of Ireland. And you can see southerly flow, very hot air getting tapped into, and this would be very hot, but also pretty thundery. And finally, if we check out the latest ECMWF, again, high pressure in control, low pressure nudging in from the west, and again, a combination of high pressure to our east, low pressure to our west, southerly winds, keeping it pretty hot there at day 10, very hot, 15 degree isotherm pushing in, but unstable, potentially big storms with this sort of pattern. So I suspect the hot air isn't really going anywhere for the second half of the month. Yes, a blip early next week for a couple of days where it is fresher, but generally speaking, hot air not going anywhere, but low pressure becoming more apparent, meaning it will likely be more and more unsettled. We see this from the latest ensembles. Warm, a good 8 to 10 degrees above average there for most. And then we drop below average early next week. And then we rebound to similar upper air temperatures later on next week. So it is going to be as warm, potentially, or it's going to be as warm at the upper air, but it potentially could be as warm at the surface. But the interesting thing is precipitation picks up, showers and storms, and of course they will be more frequent further westwards, closer to the lower pressure. So looking pretty hot and humid there around the 15th to the 20th, maybe even the 25th of July, but increased precipitation, sort of confirming what we're thinking, hot, but still turning a bit more thundery there. See, the operational run was a pretty cool run this evening. So again, it is on the lower end, and you can see there's still plenty of very hot runs appearing there. So you can't rule out seeing another dry and hot heat wave pattern developing, but at the moment the favoured pattern is still hot conditions, still mid to high 20s, maybe even 30-degree days, but will be more thundery with more low pressure systems around. And finally, if we compare to the latest ECM WF ensembles midnight run, again very warm at the moment, drop off through Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a pick back above average. Some really warm hot runs appearing there, but at the same time quite big precipitation spikes as well. So again, those combinations again gives us that headline of still pretty warm and hot, maybe still some heat wave like conditions out there, but a lot more in the way of low pressure, unsettled conditions, and of course some big summer thunderstorms. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.